Welcome to the January 2026 movie wrap up. First off, We Buried the Dead, directed by Zach Hilditch, starring Daisy Ridley and Brenton Thrice. So, it's a zombie movie with a lot of drama. So, I was getting nothing but like 28 years later vibes with how the movie ends. So, basically, the US bombed Australia, Rotro, and they need a shit ton of volunteers to go and help sort out the dead. But for some reason, the dead are coming back. Simple as that. And Daisy Ridley goes there looking for her husband. So that's what it is. It's a journey movie. She's trying to get from point B to point A, and vice versa. And like her marriage is falling apart, and so it's kind of more of closure than anything that if he came back, she has stuff she has to say to him. And besides, it's a pretty solid movie. It gets the point across with like the drama and shit, and it's a little uneasy editing wise. So the movie starts super good, actually script wise. Starts good, then for about 20 minutes, it goes off into an area that I didn't need, and it just slows the movie down, man. And this is a slow burn of a movie, but fairly entertaining. I would definitely give it a watch. I wouldn't run out to see it in the theater to buy it. I would give it a solid 3 out of 5. Daisy Ridley alone, her acting is solid in it, but she's a nothing of a character, which brings it down to a 3. Uh, Her friend in the movie, Brenton Thrice, is the best character in the movie, who has the most heart and backstory, which is funny because they backload his backstory at the very end. But January. Next up, Primate, directed by Johanna Roberts, starring Troy Kotsur and Johnny Sequoia. Yeah, this is the Killer Monkey movie, man. So all the trailers, I'm like, okay, this looks very, very average of a horror movie, of a slasher, but with a monkey, man. Nothing special. And it starts right off the bat. Which an editing choice I hate is when they needed something violent, so they show a kill right away. And then they go back like 12 hours earlier, and then it gets back to where it is. But no, the movie just gets going. You meet Ben, the monkey, and then it shows that he's super skilled in sign language. And then, he gets bit by a mongoose with rabies. And then shit just goes. And it is a movie where it's just, you know, slow, scare, slow, scare, slow, scare. And that's just kind of the formula it rides. But it is unprecedentedly violent, which is awesome. And there are great moments in it. Troy Kotsur, who steals every scene he's in because the dude just acts with his face, and his facial expressions are so bright and vivid, and you can see the terror in his eyes. And the ending of how they fuck up Ben, man, it's like really epic. Hardcore. So yeah, I would give this a solid 3 out of 5. Gets brought down because it's very cliched, and the trailers didn't help, where they spoil some of the kills. So I might bump it up to a 4 at our final rating, but as of now, just a solid 3 out of 5. Next, a movie I was very, very excited for. 28 years later, The Bone Temple, directed by Nia DaCosta, written by Alex Garland, starring Ralph Fiennes and Jack O'Connell. This movie kicked ass. So I really liked 20 years later, but I thought it was just had a lot going on. It was just very uneven with the storytelling and how they like jumped to one thing to another to another to another, with like the thin line of the son with his mother. But I loved how it ended when they introduced all the Jimmies and shit. And with this one, it really He has his cult going. They wearing the tracksuits and the wigs and shit, and just how his band of killers are just ruthless and evil and mean. And it's 20 years later, so they're younger. So when he's duping them, that Ralph Fiennes is Satan, they fully believe it. And that whole sequence, which is in all the trailers and everything, it's as the movie gets going and you know where it's going, it's like, oh, okay, oh, this makes sense. Like in the trailer, you don't know what the fuck's going on, but everything makes sense in the movie. And man, it's got a hell of a vinyl collection, I can tell you that. And I am beyond excited for the third one because they shot The Bone Temple and 28 Years Later back to back because they weren't sure if this one would succeed, and it did. No, this is a great movie, and Jack O'Connell again gave us one of the best villains in last year with Sinners, and now this year gave us another hell of a villain with Jimmy Crystal. Just amazing from start to finish, and Ralph Fiennes is just amazing, man. Like, just knock out the park, kick ass, solid 5 out of 5. Next up, Mercy, directed by Tamir Bekmambetov, starring Chris Pratt and the highly, very attractive Rebecca Ferguson. Yeah, this is the AI movie. What's the AI judge? Get put in the chair and you get 90 minutes to solve your own case. Yeah, this movie sucked. This movie was bad. Not the worst movie on this list, but probably second. Just terrible, man. So from the get-go, I thought the plot was stupid. I'm like, okay, so it's just a whodunit, but a very topsy-turvy whodunit, and just AI bad. Rebecca Ferguson helps because she's hot as shit. Staring at her for 90 minutes isn't bad, but I'm kind of getting Chris Pratt fatigue, and he's just a giant asshole and a loser in this movie, so like you really want him to prove his, or the filmmakers want us to like be excited for him proving his innocence, but I'm like, dude, this guy he's an obnoxious drunk. Like, I don't care. And his partner, right off the bat, I guess she had something to do with it, and she's a terrible actress, whoever that is. And just the scenes when she's on that fucking helicopter bike are just so stupid. Yeah, man, it was kind of giving me flashbacks to the John Chow movie Searching. I know a lot of people are going to compare it to War of the Worlds, but yeah, this is just bad, and the CGI is terrible, and it's just right off the bat when they introduce one character, right off the bat, I'm like, he did it. And guess what? Oh, spoilers, it's a he who framed him. And then even at the end, it's, yeah, nobody wins. It's just a bad movie. 1 out of 5. Next, Return to Silent Hill, directed by Christoph Gaines, starring Jeremy Iron and a bunch of other actors who just sucked. Yeah, this movie was terrible from start to finish. I thought Christoph Gaines would have some redemption for Silent Hill. I know they follow Silent Hill 2 briefly, or not briefly, abbreviated Silent Hill 2. And it's just bad from beginning to ending. The CGI shitty, the story shitty, just everything. It's just trash. And I was so fucking bored in this movie from beginning to end. Just awful. 0 out of 5. 0 out of 5. Send Help, directed by Sam Raimi, starring Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. Misery on an Island, man. It's awesome. And it's Sam Raimi back to form. Good on ya. Good on ya, Sam. Just off the bat, his little editing and his dialogues in there and his camera work and his isms and his cliches are in there, but it's so enjoyable. Like, it's awesome. And then Yeah, it's Rachel McAdams, who is an accountant. Dylan O'Brien takes over his dad's account, and she gets passed over for promotions and shit. And they're on a plane. Basically, she's on the plane just so he can use her to fill out all the forms, and then he's going to send her back and just get her fired. And she's a survivalist, which plays into the plot because they crash on an island. And, well, the switcheroo happens where now she's in charge. She calls the shots because she's great at survival shit. And he's just the douchey little Wall Street guy. Okay, Dylan O'Brien must have been doing I feel he's channeling his inner Ray Liotta. Just his mannerisms and his laugh and everything, and just kind of how he talked and how he moved. I'm like, that's very Ray Liotta. I loved it. No, this movie was a lot of fun, and it's really good pacing. There are just some editing choices with certain reveals that Rachel McAdams' character sees and everything, where I'm like, I feel this went on longer, and they purposely cut it. Just because they're like, nah, we don't want to quite give it away of what's happening. So, besides that, it was super solid movie. And I do like the fact that it didn't turn sexual. Spoilers. Where it's more of a power dynamic. So, solid. Besides, like, the editing stuff, yeah, solid 4 out of 5. Then, Shelter. Directed by Rick Roman Way, starring Jason Statham and Bill Nighy. Man, Jason Statham, he's 58, so I understand everyone gets old, everyone slows down, but he's got to start picking better scripts, man. This is the third clunker in a row. You know, out of The Beekeeper, Working Man, and now Shelter, and now they're making a Beekeeper 2, which is not good. And in, like, all those movies, it's like, okay, let's grab Jason Statham and then an older British guy to, like, narrate the movie. Or an older dude to just narrate the movie, because that's what happened with Beekeeper. Bill Nighy is sleepwalking through everything, but he really is selling what he needs to sell. So basically, Shelter, it's just a low-rent Bourne Identity. As simple as that. Statham worked for this big classified MI6 operation. He was called Kites because they were tethered to nobody and shit. And he's on this island. He's in hiding. He has a friend who drops him off supplies monthly. And then a big storm hits. His friend's ship sinks, the friend dies, but his niece survives, so Statham just spends the whole movie protecting the niece, and then there's this silent foreign assassin chasing after him, and something I hate more is when it's a steady cam shot, but they're just shaking it to make it look like shaky cam. Because there's a scene at the end where it's just Statham and Bill Nighy just talking. They are just standing across from each other talking, and the camera's still shaking a little. I'm like, what is this? But none of that shaky cam shit happens during a car chase, the most boring car chase I've ever seen in my life. Oh, this was painful. This was just sad because I'm like, I've seen good movies with all these people, and it just, trash. I did like, so the end showdown between him and the final assassin's pretty good, and then he willingly works, like, Statham cuts a deal with a bad guy, with a human trafficker, because he has the resources, he can sneak the girl out, and he lets him live. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, that was a twist. Okay. Besides that, yeah, just solid 1 out of 5. It's not that it's terrible, it's just so forgettable and cliched. And not fun cliche, just sad cliche. Now, the biggest movie probably in all of YouTube, Iron Lung, directed by Markiplier, written by Markiplier, produced by Markiplier, and starring Markiplier, and funded by Markiplier. Yeah, all that editing and shit. I like that he just took it upon himself. He got with the dude who made the video game, and they made it together. He helped write it a little. Okay, Iron Lung. Well, it's just Markiplier in a submarine, and he's just going to certain locations. And the entire movie takes place in the submarine, and they get very creative with camera movements and how to do it, and very, very engaging. The first 40 minutes of him just walking around and everything, just in the sub, and taking pictures and shit. Because they're on a planet that's just a sea of blood. There's possibly some creature in there or something that they need to check out. And that's what the movie is. And that's what the video game is. You're just in an Iron Lung, driving around a fucking submarine. You get attacked by a monster. The submarine starts to crack. Blood starts pouring in. And then the submarine blows up. In the video game. And the movie, it legit just drops you right in. And I like that there's no exterior shots, because I was thinking in my head, if this was a big studio film, like by Netflix or shit, you'd see like a big CGI monster flying around the submarine and shit and chomping on it, but you don't, like, at all. Which I appreciated that. Appreciated how he funded it, how he edited it, and it's making a shit ton of money. More money than one could probably freaking think. And because of that, and it sold out, like, instantly. It's gonna make its money times 5. And because of that, I feel there's gonna be a surge of self-produced horror movies or movies based off indie video games. I think we're gonna see just a surge of it. And I think he's gonna inspire a ton of other YouTubers to do the same, besides Chris Stuckman. So that's all the good. All the bad. The script could have been tuned up. I didn't understand certain elements and shit with it, and some of it I'm like, I feel I should understand this, but I don't understand it. So basically, what I didn't understand was War Day on Earth. I might have missed that. Why it's all covered in blood. They talk about stuff, but they don't really explain all this stuff. So he's a convict, and he's basically a patsy for all these freedom fighters on this ship or something. That he caused a bomb or something that he blew up, and he gets shoved into the Iron Lung, and he keeps screaming at the speaker, "I've done everything. I want to live. Does that matter to you? I want to live." And it just, like, they're like, "Yeah, we don't give a shit. Go here, go here, go here, go here." And there's a good chunk of the movie. So him figuring everything out, like, that works. Okay, him not understanding the monster really annoyed me. So they talk that so when he takes a picture, it uses x-rays. That's how they take pictures, because he's driving a submarine in blood, so he can't see anything, so he has to take pictures. And it's an x-ray, and he does it to a dude. And so that's why he thinks he's looking at bones, but it turns out it's the monster. And I'm like, you can't tell what the monster looks like? because you're using X-ray, so the X-ray shows it. It's like, oh, that's what the monster looks like. That I didn't necessarily get of why it took the character so long to understand. And then the other downside is, so if you play the video game, spoilers, if you played the video game, you've seen the movie, so they add a little bit more to the lore, like a little, and with the ending, so ending of the video game, the monster kills you. Like, you don't kill the monster kills you. And they just send somebody else down there. Well, this one, he sacrifices himself, so blows up. And yeah, you get some good practical effects with him and everything, and swimming in all the blood and shit. Like, that was cool. So yeah, he sacrifices himself and it blows it up, and they save the black box so they can... I don't know what they were doing. So they can find hope or something, or figure something out, or find lights, whatever that means. Like I said, a lot of stuff was fairly confusing. His acting, overall good. When he got emotional, it sounded like when he's being emotional in his videos and he's trying to be funny. So that's definitely, that was a bit distracting for me, but besides that, pretty good. I would give it, I mean, I probably will never rewatch it. It just doesn't have that hook for something you'd constantly, or you'd want to rewatch. I'd give it a solid, because all the editing and everything, yeah, I like a solid 4 out of 5. 3.5. 3.5 out of 5, because the editing really, and how he self-produced it and everything, bumped it up. Then the other half was just kind of meh. Very meh movie. Sorry, Markiplier, if you ever see this. I thought your movie was okay. So, the 2 movies I didn't see that were streaming only that I might put in later, in later months. The Rip on Netflix and The Wrecking Crew. So that's January, man. Let's see what February has.